Sometimes you can't directly solve the problem. You'll need to split it into cases using casework. Casework is solving counting and probability problems by considering different cases. So, casework is basically, like I mentioned, you look at a condition and you see what conditions, maybe a condition is satisfied is one case, a condition is not satisfied is one case. And basically, you use those cases and you find the number of ways for each case individually, and then you add them all up. Let's take an example that uses casework. Sohail has 10 boxes. Each box has a green, orange, red, and blue ball. He randomly chooses one of the boxes, with each box having an equal chance of being chosen. He then uniformly at random picks a ball from that box. He repeats this process again of randomly choosing a box and then randomly choosing a ball in that box. What's the probability that the balls are the same color? Okay, so let's say on the first go, he picks this second box right here. Okay, and let's say he picks blue. So he picks blue. And I'll just I'll highlight around this to say that this is the box he picked. This is the color he picked, blue. So now he repeats this process. He's going to repeat this process of randomly choosing a box and then choosing a ball in that box. So he's going to randomly choose a box again. Now he already took out the blue ball. It's no longer there. The blue ball in this box is gone because Sohail already took it out. Now there's 9. So what happens if the first case is Sohail gets the second box again? So if second box is chosen again, then what's the probability of getting a ball that's the same color as the one originally chosen? Blue. So case 1, second box chosen again, or same box chosen again, I should say. The probability in this case is 0. Why? Because the blue ball is already gone, so now there's no way of picking another blue ball out of the same box. Okay, case 2, this time, different box is chosen. So if a different box is chosen, then what is the probability that the balls will be the same color? So you randomly choose a ball from a different box. So let's say we choose this box over here. And let's select, and there's 4 balls, right? So the probability of drawing the blue one, 1 over 4. 1 over 4 chance of drawing the blue ball from the 4th box. But what is the probability we do pick a different box? There's 10 boxes, so there's a 1/10 probability of picking the same box, and a 9/10 probability of picking a different box. So in this case, where there's a 9/10 chance we choose a different box, there's a 1/4 chance of drawing a ball with the same color. So 9 over 40 for this case. And this case was just 0 because there's no way of getting the same ball when you look at the same box. So overall, our sum is just 9 over 40, and that's our answer. Okay, now let's move on to this problem over here. A triangle or circle is placed in each of the 9 squares in a 3x3 grid. Shown below is the configuration with 3 triangles in a line. How many configurations will have 3 triangles and 3 circles in a line? So our 3x3 grid, it must have 3 triangles in a line. Well, what does in a line really mean? Well, we could have 3 triangles like this, right? That's one case. Or we could have them in a row, so we could have something like this, where instead of in a column, now they're in a row like this. Or we could have them in a diagonal too. That's also a line, right? The diagonal. So in a diagonal, they'd be something like this. right? All three of these have 3 triangles in a line. But it also must have 3 circles in a line. And every square has a triangle or circle, so we can't leave any squares blank. So let's take a look at each of these 3 cases separately. First, 3 triangles in a diagonal. Is it even possible to have 3 circles in a line? Well, we could have, let's say we have a circle here, then we have a circle here. Well, there's no spot here or here to form a line. Circle here, here. There's no circle. If you have a circle here and here, we can't have a circle here to form the line, so that won't work. Because in order to form a line, we have to have 3 in a row, but now there's a triangle blocking that square. Similarly, to have the circles in a row here, the triangle is blocking this square, and to have 3 circles in a row here, the triangle is blocking this square. So, no, there's no way to have circles in a column if we have triangles in a diagonal. Same thing, we can't have 3 circles in a row either, because no matter what, there's always going to be one spot that's already filled by a triangle. Can we have them in a diagonal? Well, even that will have one spot that's already filled by the triangle. So therefore, there's actually 0 cases that work in this case. 0. Okay, so look, there's 0 cases that work, but what about for these 2 cases over here? Let's take a look at these 2 cases, see how many ways there are that result in 3 circles also being able to be in a line. Okay, so let's take this case here, the vertical case. We obviously must have 3 circles vertically as well, because we can't have 3 diagonally, it will intersect over here. We also can't have 3 horizontally, because then one circle spot will be taken. We have to have 3 circles like this, or like this. Either one of those will work. So we can have a row of triangles here, a row of circles here, and inside here can be anything. It could be something random like triangle, circle, triangle. It could be something random like that, but it could also be another column of triangles or circles. So it could also be something like this, where we have circle, circle, circle again. It could be something random, like here, a bunch of random shapes. There's no 3 triangles or 3 circles. Or we could have 3 circles. We could have 2 rows of 3 circles and 1 row of 3 triangles. And we can also have 2 rows of 3 triangles and just 1 row of 3 circles. So this is another case that will work. We have 2 rows of 3 triangles, like you see here. So all of these 3 things are possibilities. You have something random in the middle, or you got one column of triangles, 1 column of circles, and 1 column of something random, or 1 column of triangles and 2 columns of circles, or 2 columns of triangles and 1 column of circles. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at each case separately. What about for this case over here? How many possibilities are there? We've got 2 columns of triangles, 1 column of circles. That's just 3 cases, because from these 3 columns, we just pick one of them to be the column of circles. Similarly, this one also has 3 cases, because out of the 3 columns, we pick one of them to be triangles. Now, what about this one over here? Now, this is a tricky one. So we've got a column of triangles, a column of random, and a column of circles. There's 3 factorial ways to arrange these 3 columns in order, right? And then we're gonna have to multiply that by the number of possible choices for this random column. Now there's 2 ways to do this. One is with complementary counting, where we see that for it to be something random, well, it cannot be a column of triangles and circles. So there's going to be two choices. There's going to be two choices for each of these three squares, 2 cubed, and then we subtract the two cases where there's a row of triangles and a row of circles, because those are already counted over here. So 2 cubed minus 2 equals 6. So 3 factorial times 6. Another way to see this is just to write out all of the cases. Triangle, 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 circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, triangle, or we could also have circle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, and then triangle, circle, circle. Or we could have 3 circles. And for it to be something random that's not a row of triangles or circles, we can't have these two possibilities. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cases here. So in total, we have 3 factorial times 6, 36 different possibilities for this case. So overall, if we have 3 triangles vertically, it's 36 plus 3 plus 3, which is 42. What about 3 triangles horizontally? Now, we don't have to do all the casework again. Notice just if you rotate this whole figure. So this whole figure, just rotate it. We get a row of triangles, a row of circles, a row of random. Over here, rotate it. Triangle, triangle, circle. The number of cases to having them vertically is the same as the number of cases having horizontally, because they're symmetric. It doesn't matter whether we're having 2 columns versus rows. They're the same thing essentially, because they're not going to produce different cases. It's a square. There's 3 rows, there's 3 columns. If it was a rectangle, that would be a different story, but it is not in this case. So it's just going to be 42 cases as well, by symmetry, if we have the 3 triangles in a row. So overall, it's 84, and that's our answer. The insight for this problem was to break it up into cases based on whether... So the thing is to see the diagonals. 3 in a diagonal didn't work. If it was vertically, then we have to have circles vertically as well. And then the third column can be a circle row, a triangle row, or something that's mixed. And then we divided those 3 cases up, we added them up, and we noticed the symmetry. So 42 times 2, 84. Okay, that was a great problem. And next we're ready to move on to complementary counting. So complementary counting is, rather than doing messy casework, we count the complement and subtract it. And it's a real shortcut we'll discuss right over there.